My name is Ahmed Best, and I am an Ovation Honors winner for fight choreography for the show Blueberry Toast at the Echo Theater Company. I grew up in the Soundview section of the South Bronx, New York City. My parents are artists, so there was a great deal of support for the arts, and at that time in New York, a lot of things were happening at once. You know, hip hop was just coming out, and the street was alive with a lot of special. It was just a special time, you know. I remember like Grandmaster Flash on my block doing parties across the street from my building, and you know, breakdancing and hip hop were emerging in a way that was just taking over our lives. And I just remembered I always wanted to be a part of it. And my parents were always involved in theater when I was a kid. So I would always be at a theater, and my father was a cinematographer. So it was either like a film set or a television set or the backstage of a theater. So I grew up in it, and it was incredibly supportive. And when you grow up in a neighborhood that doesn't have a lot, you have to make a lot. So we created and made our own shows in our own neighborhoods, and that's pretty much how I just jumped off. That's how I started. Yeah, my inspirations come from a lot of different places. One of my biggest inspirations are my parents, because they were polymaths, but they also instilled in me this idea of ask questions, keep learning, find yourself, have a voice, and I don't think that's really encouraged a lot, especially from a poor kid in the Bronx. You know, they really instilled in me this idea of having your own voice. And then my first show, when I was an adult, I was in the original cast of Stomp in New York City. And the two directors of Stomp, Luke Cresswell and Steve McNicholas, were huge inspirations on me, because before, you know, you grow up in New York, you have off-Broadway, you have Broadway, and all of those shows are very specific, you know. It's either a classic play or it's something, you know, off the wall, but it's proscenium, it's, you know, people on stage, and nothing breaks that relationship. And theater in the 90s in New York City really made a difference, because it turned it more into like rock and roll. There was definitely, and especially where we were in Stomp, we were on the Lower East Side of New York, and it had this real strong punk rock feel of it. And the shows that were popular at the time was Stomp, Blue Man Group, De La Guarda, and Rent. Like, we were the four kind of rock and roll shows. And it really changed what I thought theater could be. You know, it really opened up my idea and opened up my mind to a difference in how you can have this live experience. And it doesn't have to be, you know, what is original or normally thought of as what a theater piece is. And then working with George Lucas, he really changed my entire perception of what was possible. He really made me think that you can take your imagination and make whatever you want, and you don't need anyone's permission. You know, if you have a vision, just go and do it, and don't look for validation from anybody else but your own sensibility. It is. It's a tough theater town. I mean, it's kind of not fair from my perspective, because in New York City, theater is a job. You know, you can do that, and it's every day, and you know, you get to make a living doing that. It's very difficult to do in Los Angeles. That's not by any means saying that there isn't very good theater here. There is, and there are a lot of people who move here from other places, a lot of New Yorkers here who find solace on the stage here in LA. It's just not ensconced in the culture here. You know what I mean? What's really in the culture here is everybody comes out here for film and television. But I tell you, when I came out here for that reason, and when times got tough, there was always a stage that I could jump on, and it saved my life. It really saved my life. So it's tough in the respect that it's hard to get people out. It's tough in the respect that it doesn't really move the popularity of your career forward as much as it does in other places. But it's a wonderful theater town because when you get on stage, there's always a stage for you, and it reminds you of why we do this. You know, we do it because we can't not do it.